Hello, welcome to this video. So this video is gonna be kind of a recreation-y thing, but not really, but kind of. It's kind of taking something and then making it into something else. So I have a lot of like sewing stuff and some embroidery stuff, and I was originally keeping it in this lunchbox, which I got because the design was pretty cool and my mom thought it was a waste because it's one of those insulated ones, and she was like, oh, it was like on sale, and I was like, you know what, I'll grab it because I was looking at it before and I was like, do I need a lunchbox for my sewing kit? So here is sewing stuff. Obviously it's not properly organized. This isn't even all of my sewing stuff right now. I have a big box full of embroidery stuff, and I want to be able to separate this a little bit more into, because these work well enough, but if I can work something where they separate a little bit better, or I have them in a compartment or something, that would be a little bit nicer, I think, because half the time this ends up coming undone. As you can see, there's a little safety pin in it, but this comes undone and it just all falls out and it's really annoying. So my plan is to use a different box that I'm currently using for makeup and make it into like almost a cake looking box. So I should check the name of the YouTuber. About late last year I saw a video from Bunny Buns, I think is their YouTube channel. I'll put the name up there, and they were wearing these. They're so cool looking. They're like cake platform boots. Well, not boots, shoes. Kind of trainer shoes, a bit like the cloud ones I have that don't fit me and I still haven't put up for sale yet. I'll get to it one day, but I love them, and they were like, oh wait, where are they from, where are they from? And then they're from Dolls Kill, and if you want to look at the controversy with Dolls Kill, go ahead. There's a lot there. There's racist aspects and a whole lot of other stuff as well, including I think there was a thing where there was a bunch of stolen artwork or something, and like there was some other controversies. But I mean, to be perfectly fair, find any YouTube video online and I feel like there's a controversy about all of them, but at least most of them aren't like the owner is a racist or all the rest of it. So go have a look for yourself, there's plenty out there. But basically I saw that they also had a couple bag things because I went onto it and I was like, let's see what else they have, because if this is like part of a set, maybe it's something that I can like recreate. So I had a quick look, and there's some like cake bags mostly, it seems. So obviously on Procreate, I'm just gonna show it like this because you know what, you can look up your stuff if you really want to. There we go, that's a lot better. So you can obviously see they kind of at the bottom, this is the same cake, but I decided to take both the photos just to kind of have a look at them. I really like the strawberries on them. That's really cool, but I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get those. I know where I can get these kind of like roses that are on this one. There we go. The kind of felt roses that are on this one and stuff like that. I think they're really cool. I'm not going to take obviously a direct rip from them. Again, I'm making a box. These are bags. I'm pretty much just going to use some ribbons and I believe some dress lining. I'll probably use like a base for it to make it look something similar to this, where it's like the ribbons are kind of the frills of the icing and stuff like that. I could arguably use silicone as well, like I did for this kind of thing, which I think does create a lot more of a realistic thing going into it, but you know, we'll see. I also just have those other cake bags because I was like, oh, they're cute and all the rest of it, but you know, I'm not getting any of them. I'm not going to buy any of them because I don't want to support that company. Oh yes, these are also the shoes that I was talking about. I probably showed them already anyway. But yes, I thought I could try and make a similar thing, or suppose a similar style onto a cake. Now there is something when I looked up like cake boxes and stuff like that, there is like these types of ones, and they're a lot more like realistic, and that's not really what I'm going for. I kind of want that sugar sweets fantasy-esque kind of one that those other ones do have. And I also think that box is plenty big enough for all of my sewing stuff. And I might also be able to put some other stuff in there as well, which I think is kind of going to be the goal, is like I'll have maybe sewing stuff, hopefully the embroidery stuff on top of it. I think the majority of my kind of sewing stuff in terms of machine stuff, I think is probably going to stay here because the machine is very loud, and while I would love to take it down with me, I think it's just it's at a point where I'm like, is it worth it? Because my air compressor is quieter and for doing something like ears and stuff. Like, I would like to do bows with them, so I don't know, I'll need to figure it out, but I think probably a lot of my machine stuff would stay here. But I do still kind of want a compartment that would house all of my machine stuff, like my extra bobbins and all the rest of it. So yeah, I'll show you the box now and what it's looking like, and then I'll probably take it to the iPad or paper stage where I'll show you like what my actual plan is going to be for actually making it into what I want it to be. Alright, so sorry for the noise. Basically this is the box that I'm talking about. So as you can see, it's from a makeup kit thing, and I got this in it, and this thing, and this thing, and I got the gingerbread palette there, and that's fallen out. And then there's another one somewhere in here, that's the pie one I got in there as well. So I got a bunch of stuff in this palette, or this box, because that's what it was originally for. Oh yeah, and I got this as well. This kind of Christmassy themed one that it's fairly close to my skin color, this lipstick, but to be honest I think it's a good lipstick for like, I don't really want to wear lipstick but I want to wear lipstick kind of thing. That isn't this liquid because it's slightly lighter, but it's also, no, I don't know, not the biggest fan of it, but then again, half the time I've worn it I've gone aging. So, you know, anyway. So this is the box that I'm thinking of transforming into. So this area would have to stay the same because it's a very close close. Like, it's fairly kind of difficult to open, so I'd need to attach a little bit of ribbon to the top here so I could pull it open a little bit easier, I think. I could even actually, I could technically cut this off, but I don't really want to. I think it would be good to kind of hold everything in, particularly because I have a fair amount of sewing stuff and also embroidery stuff which will be going into this as well, so I could have it all in one place. I don't mind the design of this. It's like a suitcase design. You can kind of see the little thing there, and I kind of want to put something in the back there, but I'm not sure what. Maybe I could put a little kind of net like this, if I could find like a pink one or something like that, and then just put it at the back so I could put stuff into it, so when I open it up it's kind of all sitting in there as well. I think that could work. But yeah, it's a good sized box, and I have another box coming from AliExpress which is going to hold all my makeup in it. And yeah, let's see what my plan is to do with this one. So I should probably take this down so I can show you this. So I've now taken everything out of it other than a bit of grey paper that was in it. So to look at the damage, so I think there's been a little bit of kind of sun bleaching on it, because this bit is definitely lighter than this bit, but the back is kind of all uniform colour. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. There's also Isle of Revolution on this side, it's kind of weirdly bleeding, which I don't really know what's going on there. Also on the inside you can kind of tell the light's slightly lighter on some things and darker on others. So there are these two little string things, and obviously the point of these was so that when it was up, until where it came out as well, it would sit like that, because it would be taut, which I might reattach and figure out from there, but I'm not entirely sure as of yet. What I need to do though is I definitely need to add a little bit of ribbon here so it's easier to open, because once it's shut I need to kind of pick it up and pull it against something in order to open it again. It's just, it shuts nicely, good, nice and solid shut, but then opening it again takes a little bit too much effort, I think, for me, for, you know, what's going to be essentially a sewing kit. So this is the general shape of the box. It's a box. There's this inner lip kind of here, which I think I'm going to utilize, because my plan is to basically, I have a bunch of dress lining. It's basically polyester, kind of satin looking, or like, yeah, shiny, kind of satiny looking fabric. And my plan is to essentially fold, maybe just cut bits out and then just hot glue the edges, and then fold stuff in here, glue it, and then fold it into here so it really creates a straight line. Because I don't mind this being visible in pink, because remember, it's gonna scrape against this either way. Like, it's, you know, the edges are gonna get ruined from it if I try and paint that. So the plan is this is pretty much going to stay the same. I might cover the I Heart Revolution thing with something else, maybe a different picture or some stickers, like throw a fuck ton of stickers in there. I have a lot anyway. So yeah, the outside is just to cover the outside pretty much with a bunch of that dress lining, and then use a bunch of ribbon, as in this kind of diagram here. Use a bunch of ribbons on each edge so that it helps cover a lot of the hot glue and kind of will help make it look a little less hodgepodge, because I'm not going to be sewing this fabric together in order to stick it onto a box. It's going to just make it bulky anyway, so I might as well use something like hot glue, which will hopefully make sure it's really secured on there. Then the, you know, ruffled fabric will help, or ruffled ribbon I suppose, will help kind of hide that. I think my plan is going to be use white along the edges here in general, and then on this kind of split middle bit use red and then maybe a bit of pink on each side of the red, so then it's kind of like it's the middle of the cake kind of thing going down the little hatch. And then I have to figure out this side because I do kind of want it to still ruffle, but I just have to make sure it's not going to be too much gets ruffled, because I think my plan is going to be one line of ribbon ruffled each on each side of this, and then it's going to transfer into just one ruffle line, so it doesn't all go two at the back here, it's just one. I think that could be cute. Then on top, I don't really know. I'm still trying to figure that out, so I think the plan is going to be to start off with that basis. I'm also going to look at some other like general cake designs and stuff like that and see how that works. But I'm thinking I might have it so it's like, okay, we've got ruffled ribbon on the outside, then maybe there's a bit of like a ruffled circle here that's like a big thick white ribbon that gives it more structure, and then like pink ribbon, and then maybe white ribbon again, and then on top of that, like maybe slightly raised at that point, on top of that like a bunch of strawberries. And I don't quite know how I want to do the strawberries. Because of another project, I was thinking what I could do is I could literally make some bigger kind of strawberry shapes out of clay, then you know, resin the clay, then make that clay into a silicone mold, probably a half strawberry and then a full strawberry, and then like literally just make make like resin, like red see-through strawberries that are maybe like a little bit white at the top or something. Ooh, that'd be cool. I like that idea. So we're gonna have to kind of figure out if that's what I want to do. I was thinking also possibly doing things with like raspberries and berries as well, like doing it with a bunch of different shapes so I could kind of like mix and match. But I think that's something, you know, we'll decide on a little bit later. I might make it, because I think today my plan is to finish off some of the other stuff I was doing, because I'm adding pockets to a skirt that I thought had pockets and didn't. You'll see that in a different video, probably the shopping video, because I tend to do updates on any changes I made to clothing at that point. And I'm also going to do a bunch of clay things, so hopefully tomorrow I can just do a silicone mold out of all those different clay things. So yeah, and hopefully I'll have enough to make another silicone mold on top of that for something that I want to sell. So yeah, it's a lot. A lot of different things going on. I think I'm happy with having the general satin fabric on it, and then also, well no, it's not polyester, so it's fabric on it, and then doing the little bits and pieces. Oh yeah, I was also thinking of possibly having a little cake stand. So I do actually have some actual cake stands because I've had cakes in the past, and just reminded me, because I kept a bunch of the plastic because I wanted to keep the plastic to be able to do stuff like resin. It's far too high up for me to get. Is there one in here? I don't think so. But basically I used a bunch of the plastic that was used for like the window for putting resin stuff, like resining stuff on, or doing clay stuff on so it's easy to take off. You know, it was just stuff that would be a little bit messy, and my plan was to make a whole big massive patchwork of it, so it's like, okay, I've got this big massive plastic sheet. But Mom ended up throwing that away. I was also going to use it for my resin shakers, but luckily I can use the like thingy that I have, the like graphic film I think it's called. It's literally just like see-through kind of plastic that you put in a projector thing, like those old projectors, and I can use that luckily. Because I do put, like, when you do it, I usually have a fair amount of I usually use UV resin on the outside of it to stick it down, and then I put some UV resin on top so you can't actually press it down at all. But it is something where it's like, luckily I can use that because I was going to use those, and I don't really want to have to go and buy plastic specifically to use it for the other stuff. I did get some along with a bunch of other shaker molds which I haven't used. I do want to use some of them, but I think it's just something where like there's some specific stuff I want to do with those, I think. So yeah, anyway. I'm blabbering on a lot. So yeah, I think this is a base for now, and then we'll figure out what else we want to do with it. I think that it's an idea. Oh, also I was thinking of possibly doing silicone swirls on it, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't think they would stick. I think also as well the fact that like the original idea or the original inspiration, I suppose, is kind of you know, this kind of bag shape, and it's very much like, you know, it's all fabric, and those strawberries obviously will probably be like plastic, but you know, that kind of thing. And then even the other like pink one, that sort of thing. I was thinking, actually now that I think about it, like I could put like bows on it, or those fake, because you get those kind of like bow roses, but I don't really want to put those on it. I kind of feel like I want to go for more of that, for somewhere with like, it's more of a strawberry, like actual strawberry cake vibe. But maybe I will use like strings and stuff. There's also seen on that one, but yeah, anyway. I will see you guys once I have started making this process a thing. Okay, so I haven't really made a ton of progress when it comes to this video. Obviously I'm kind of filming these two videos side by side, but I have put this into silicone and have made a mold out of it. I've yet to do a resin thing. I'm hoping to do that a little bit later on, but I find sometimes with the doing clay ones myself, even when I resin them, sometimes the silicone doesn't set properly, so I have to kind of take the object out after the rest of it is set, and then leave that bit that's touching all of this to set properly out in the air. So hopefully it should be set fairly soon and I can do a resin thing, but I knew I wanted these. I was looking at like blueberry molds and like raspberry molds and all the rest of it, but I think I'm gonna go with like a purely like strawberry cake vibe for it. So hopefully starting the base of it tonight, and you'll see a little bit of that in the next bit. So as I was resining a bunch of different things, I also resined this bad boy, which is the big strawberry. So we're gonna see how this ended up being. I also need to weigh this to know exactly how many grams of resin I need to actually fill this thing. Okay, and there we go. So it's obviously very like bitty. I think I'd maybe have to sand this down a little bit. I think, where was it? It was a little sticky, so I don't know whether some of the resin or some of the silicone is kind of stuck to it a little bit. But yeah, that is, if I can have it on the frame, that is this one. So yeah, I think the plan is going to be quickly sanding it down, trying to get some of these bits and bobs kind of off it, possibly going in and kind of define some of these little edges a bit more. But yeah, overall it's actually quite nice. Like, it's a little bit darker than it is on camera, I'd probably say, but at the same time I think that these are really nice. I want to figure out, I don't know if I have the tools for it. I think I might have a saw somewhere to like saw down the middle of this to then have like half strawberries, and then I could like paint in the middle of the half strawberry as well to make it look more like it's a half strawberry. But yeah, plan is this would pretty much just be sitting up like that, or sitting slightly to the side, which I'd sand down the side of it so it could sit better and all the rest of it. But yeah, that is this one done. So I might do another resin one today, maybe a little bit later on. So I think I'm going to aim for about 5 of these, and then from there that would mean that, you know, I've got plenty. Try that. Anyway, I'll see you in a bit.